Your Excellency Charlotte Darlow, the New Zealand High Commissioner to Fiji, Mr. Chandra Sen, President of New Zealand Fiji Business Council. I'm not sure if the Governor's still here, Mr. Arif Ali, Mr. Kamal Chetty from CEO Investment Fiji, David Dewar, New Zealand Trade Commissioner in Fiji, ladies and gentlemen, Puluvanaka, and a very, very warm welcome to all of you. It's indeed an absolute pleasure to be here today. It's not just because Chandra is from Natambua. He's also a very, very good friend, and I thought I wasn't going to miss this at all. So I made sure I came here on time. This is actually the first in-person mission from New Zealand to Fiji since 2019. And I thank you all for making it possible. And this occasion is special as it further represents some degree of normalcy that we've actually been striving for post-COVID. And the theme, enabling trade recovery, and very aptly depicts a continuance of the optimistic future that we have ahead of us. I also want to acknowledge and extend my appreciation to the respective speakers prior to me for their valuable contribution earlier and later in the program. And I'm sure that this has set the pace for all the key points of discussion for the event. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the global economy like no other. And we would all agree that our economies have been adversely impacted in some way and continue to be impacted. And as a Pacific final, we share our own series of highs and lows over the last 2 years, and our continued perseverance is a testament to the strong relations that both our nations proudly enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, New Zealand continues to remain one of our largest trading partners, and prior to the pandemic, I'm sure you've heard this all, our total two-way trade was worth about $898.7 million, and Fiji's export to New Zealand was worth about 162, largely underpinned by exports of fresh produce and pharmaceutical products and garments. Fiji is also New Zealand's largest trading partner across the Pacific Islands, and the only country in the region to be amongst its top 20 trading partners. On the tourism front, New Zealand was Fiji's second largest tourist market and one of the fastest growing sources of international arrivals, with over about 200,000 Kiwis visiting Fiji in 2019. But inevitably the pandemic resulted in a decline in our two-way trade by about 9.37%, reducing to 813 million odd in 2021. And consequently, tourist arrivals and earnings in 2021 compared to 2019 pre-pandemic levels actually declined significantly. Visitor arrivals declined by 97.9% to about 532 visitors. And tourism earnings actually declined by 91.2% to about 0.4 million respectively. However, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually confident that there are opportunities to further secure our country's economic future by means of enhancing our trade and investment relations. And similarly, we look forward to getting our tourism numbers back on track as both Fiji and New Zealand continue to remove the travel restrictions. So far, we've received about 20,000 odd Kiwis since the opening of the borders by the New Zealand government in April, and the recent appointment of our new Trade Commissioner, also to New Zealand and Australia, Mr. Daniel Stowe, most of you will know him, has demonstrated our commitment to better leverage trade and economic opportunities. Our officer in charge, Camilla in Auckland, has been tasked to refocus and recognize our trade with New Zealand, and under the guidance of Mr. Stowe and the Permanent Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, we would all agree that much of our economic recovery stems from our effective health response in gradually transitioning from an immediate crisis management to the implementation of recovery. Until today, about 95% of our eligible population is fully vaccinated, and this would not have been possible if key partners such as New Zealand did not step in during our time of need. So thank you. Once again, thank you very much for all the assistance that's been rendered to us. Ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic has also led many economies around the world to think economic strategies, and it has been nothing short of an impetus for transformative evolution. And this is why I mentioned about the WTO. It took us 21 years to get an agreement done, and we actually got it done. So COVID has taught us quite a few lessons. We have seen the strong emergence of digital trade and e-commerce being a global market playing field for business for all nature and sizes to actually strive through and thrive past the COVID crisis. And aside from being a trading hub of the Pacific, we strive towards becoming an investment destination of choice. This is evident as the Fijian government is committed to implementing legislative, regulatory, procedural reforms by streamlining processes whilst adapting to digital technology. I'm sure you all would have heard from Kamal. And this is evident also in the recent establishment of our Investment Act 2021, Investment Fiji Act 2022, and work continues in the development of an online integrated application portal for investors. Meanwhile, you can catch a glimpse of all of that on www.bizfiji.com. As you'll be aware, ladies and gentlemen, there are numerous business opportunities and investment incentives available in the ICT area, in manufacturing, in BPO, in green energy, health, agriculture, to name a few. And just to let you all know, in terms of the BPO sector, we are firmly behind this and looking to grow it as much as we can. As a matter of fact, prior to being in Geneva, we were in Portugal attending one of the biggest BPO conferences that there is in Europe. I'm certain that the insightful session on investing opportunities in Fiji will attract Kiwi investors to consider Fiji as the first choice for investment. The business mission also signifies a strong foundation of our relationship and our ambition to take our economic relations even further. Reflecting on the present global situation, it is actually pivotal that trade and investment be a central pillar in our shared global recovery, while we strive for a greener, more inclusive and more resilient future for Fiji and New Zealand, which has been framed as a Dovata partnership. This literally means we are together and one as partners with shared commitment to bring prosperity to our people. Case in point, place I just came from in Geneva. Great partnership between New Zealand and the rest of the Pacific. So with those few words, thank you, Chandra, also for organizing all of this, and for all of you, thank you for being here. For those of you that made the trip over, I'm happy to catch up with you quickly. But as I said, I am shattered at the moment. Wish you all an impactful and a successful engagement ahead. And once again, I want to publicly say thank you to New Zealand for all the support rendered to us at the WTO. Thank you very much. Nawale.